Hey guys, welcome back to the comment section. I'm your host, Mr. Marcus White. What a week, right? What a long week. I'm so over winter. I live in New York, and so it's been freezing up here. Like some days, this week has just been single digits. I think, well, that's a lie. I think the lowest, which was the highest, was like maybe like 15 or 19 degrees, but that's close enough to be in like a single digit number, right? 19, it might as well just be like fucking 5 degrees. That's what it fucking felt like. Well, no, because actually the lowest was 3 degrees. So the highest was 19. And then the lowest was 3 degrees. That was earlier this week. But every day this week has just been so fucking cold, and this winter has been wintering. It's so annoying. Like it has not been this cold up here in many years. Like, I mean, of course it's winter. I'm not saying that it's been in the 60s or 70s for the past couple winters, but it just hasn't been like this cold. Like for the past couple years, I want to say like the lowest it's been around the winter is like maybe 20 degrees or maybe mid 20s. Uh, Having it 3 degrees to be in the lowest is just kind of like crazy. It's so crazy. Am I making sense here? Am I making sense? I'm just tired of the winter. I'm just ready for spring. This winter, like I said, has been wintering. Like it's been snowing almost every other fucking day. I'm just tired of it. I really am. And I have a little cold right now. I'm sure you all can hear it. So that's another reason I'm over this winter, because I'm sick too. Being sick and having a cold every morning when I walk my dog is just not a good combination. I just want to stay in bed all day. I really do. And it's not really helping my mental health either, really. I mean, I think I've said it on the podcast multiple times that I struggle with depression, like severely. And I don't know whether my depression is to blame on the weather or if I'm just coming to terms of how alone and isolated I am and how I feel. Like I don't have many friends. I'm coming to realize like I don't have many friends, which I'm not really used to either, because like I'm used to always being surrounded by people. Um, and within the last couple of years, all the friends that I did have either moved away, passed away, or we just, drifted apart, whether we had a falling out or, you know, we just got busy with our individual lives. And, you know, last year I accepted my new reality and I embraced it. And, but now it's really starting to feel lonely. Like there's no one to really go out to dinner with, go to the movies with. I don't have anyone. And that's what I've been realizing for the last couple of weeks now. It's like I don't have anyone I could be like, hey, let's go out for dinner. Um, like the friends I do have, they are in new relationships, and they want to spend time with their new boyfriends, which I get. Um, and so I just feel lonely. I don't know. And this winter isn't helping me with mental, my mentality right now. And like I said, I don't know if it's the winter or if I'm just realizing that I just have no one. Like I have no one to talk about my day with. I have no one I could just call, but like, oh, let me tell you about my day. I have no one. It's just like, how did I get here? Like, how did I'm such a lovable person. Was surrounded by so many people in love. Like, how did I get on my own island? Like, how did this happen? I don't get it. I just don't get it. And even though I'm in like this deep depression, I keep trying to remind myself of all the positive things that are going on in my life. Like, I have good health. I have a financially stable job. I am financially secured right now. But I just can't get my mind out of that negative place. And I feel bad for even thinking all the negative things I think, because there's so many people who aren't able to wake up in good health, or who are struggling living paycheck to paycheck. Um, and and here I am complaining that I'm lonely and I have things that people are wanting to. And I'm not saying I'm living like Rihanna or Beyonce. I'm like living large on a private island, living on the yachts. But I am fortunate to have the ability to take amazing trips. And by the way, next week, there will be no new episode for the next 2 weeks. I leave for Brazil in a couple days. So I just want to let you guys know that there will be no new episode of the comment section for the next 2 weeks. And I want to feel excited about the trip, but I just don't. Like, the people I'm going with, I'm not even close with. Like, the last time I spoke to these people was in September, and I don't know what's going on in their lives, and they don't know what's going on in my life. And not saying that I'm not friends with these people, I'm friends with them, but and we talked. We've just been talking about details of the trips for the past couple of days, since it's literally, it's not even around the corner, it's across the street at this point. But they don't know what's going on in my life. I don't know what's going on in their life, and I don't know. I don't have anybody. And it's only, I think I'm bringing this up because earlier today, at work, my secretary, opened up to me about, something personal going on in her life. She was telling me that she recently found out that her son, had plans to commit suicide recently. And, you can hear the pain in her voice of where she was just hurt even of the idea of him killing himself. And, he's struggling with his mental health, with personal things I'm not going to share, obviously, with you all. But as she was explaining everything he was going through, it kind of hit home for me, because that's exactly how I feel, I've been feeling suicidal lately. I'm not close to my family. So, for the holidays, I spent Thanksgiving and Christmas alone. New Year's Eve, a friend invited me over, so I was able to spend New Year's Eve with my friend. But, you know, I just don't have anyone I can fall back on. And if it wasn't for my dog Ahijah, I probably would have killed myself by now. And, I don't know if I will this year, honestly. I mean, I'm on a high alert. I shouldn't say that, because I don't want people thinking like I'm going to do it, but it's a possibility. But I don't want my dog to be, where will my dog go? That's what I thought a couple weeks ago. Where will my dog go? I don't know the family. Like, if he'll be up for adoption, and I don't know if the family would take good care of him as I would. My dog is spoiled. He goes to daycare three times a week. He has 3 beds. He has a very privileged, spoiled life. And so that's what kind of stopped me a couple weeks ago, is because who would take care of my dog? And I'm all my dog knows. He doesn't know anyone else. And I don't know how he would feel if I wasn't here. I'm assuming that he would be devastated. Because I wanted to do it a couple weeks ago. I Googled, like, do animals realize when their owners do die? And the statistics that I read, it was that, dogs and cats tend to just die, really quickly after their owner passes away. And so that made me not want to do it a couple weeks ago, because I think I was going to do it a couple weeks ago. I had a plan. I had something typed up in my laptop, ready to be released. But then when I found out that Ahijah, which is my dog, could have potentially, died from heartbreak or heartache, I didn't want that for him. I didn't want him to suffer that way. And so, Ahijah's 5 years old, and maybe, the higher power put him in my life for this reason, so I wouldn't commit suicide. Maybe, I always say things happen for a reason. And maybe me getting Ahijah was so I will live longer on this earth, if that makes sense. But I just feel like I have no purpose on this earth. And, I have nothing going on. Since we all know that I'm into the Housewife series, I can just say, if I was a housewife on one of the Real Housewives, I would have been fired because I wouldn't have a storyline. I have nothing going on. For the past couple years, I literally have just been doing the same routine. Working, blogging, walking my dog, and going to sleep. That's it. I have no dating life. Nobody wants to date me. I did Facebook dating, I did Tinder, and no one's interested in me. The only people interested in me are people who only have 3 teeth and who are 50 years older than me, Those are people who have interest in me. I'm really passable. I don't know why that is, but, and it's true. People don't believe me, but I wouldn't be saying that if it wasn't true. I haven't been in a relationship in 5 years. The date that I went on a month ago, he acted like he was catfish and didn't even want to bother talking to me. So I just feel like I have nothing going on. I'm not dating no one. No one is calling and checking on me. I can't, all this week, no one has called me to see, let me see how Marcus is doing. Let me see what Marcus is up to. You know why? Because I have nothing going on in my life. And it makes me wonder, what am I on this earth for? Well, that's what I was wondering a couple weeks ago when I was thinking about committing suicide. So, I'm bringing this all up. I know I'm rambling. Random topic. I don't even know why I even brought this up. I might even edit this part out the podcast because it's very, very, but because of what my secretary told me about what's going on with her son, and I could relate to her, and I didn't obviously tell her I could relate to her son, but I so could. At least she would care if her son committed suicide. I don't think my mother would care if I did. We haven't talked in years, and I don't think that she has any plans on ever talking to me. But it's heartbreaking to see that my secretary would have that going on in her life, and I don't know. I feel for her. I feel for her son. But yeah, I'm so deleting this part out the podcast. Yeah. I don't want no one worried about me. And I definitely don't want no one hitting me up either. I hate sympathy. Ugh, God, that makes me even want to be pushed even more away. If people, hit me up and feel bad for me. I'm just venting, I think, right now. I'm just talking. That's what this podcast is for. We just talk on the comment section. And at this point, I guess it's a one-man show. I don't know. I don't know. But, yeah, I guess let me just end my rant. I'm okay, people. I will say that. I'm okay. I am lonely. I'm very lonely. I've been depressed and I try to put on a good face for you all. I try to, hey guys, how's it going? What a wonderful week. Put on the smile and great attitude and bring people on to do the show with, since it is now a one-man show. And but I'm just not happy. And what she told me earlier, she told me towards the end of the day, which was a couple of hours ago, so it was still fresh on my mind. But, it's is it the weather? Is it the cold, cloudy weather? Or is it really that I am isolated? I have nobody, nobody in my life. And like I said, it's been this way. I've been feeling this way probably since November. I can't think of the last time that I've just gone out to dinner. Well, I gone out to dinner for a friend's birthday, for two friends' birthdays. But that's it. That's because they want to go out to dinner for their birthday. No one wants to go out to dinner with me just to catch up and to see how I'm doing or just to hang out. Like, I have no one who wants to hang out with me. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking. I don't know. I'm thinking at this point, should I just start over? Should I leave this in the podcast? I don't know. I'm just embarrassed for people to hear this now. But maybe someone listening feels the same way and I'm connecting with someone. I've always wanted my platform, whether it's on this podcast or through my blog page, Mr. Housewives, I've always wanted to connect to somebody. Um, and one last point before I end this on this terrible rant that I may cut from the final episode. Um, I started doing YouTube back in 2017, I think, because none of my friends watched the Real Housewives series. And so I did YouTube videos because I wanted to connect with people who did watch the show. And in that way, in that aspect, I've always said that that was a void. That void was filled with the loneliness of not really having any friends who like the stuff I like. So when I quit YouTube, there was that void again. And when I started the blog page, and started this podcast, it filled that void because I could connect with people and make friends, which I had made friends. I met, I think we said this. I met JT through YouTube. He followed me on YouTube and we connected, from that aspect. And we've been friends for many years now, for over 5 years, I think. I met Ahmad through my blog page. He was sending me DMs and, I thought, okay, this is a cool guy. He came on the podcast and we developed a friendship. So, there's a couple people who I've made friends with from my Instagram page and through this podcast as well, who haven't been on the podcast, so I won't say their names. So I say that to say that I created these platforms to fill in the void. But for some reason, I still feel like there's a void with just the loneliness that I'm feeling, that I have been feeling for the past couple of months. And, this is such a terrible opener for the episode. I don't know. Let me let's just get started with this podcast because I may not even leave this in the final cut. So embarrassing. Maybe I will. Like I said, I will be connecting to somebody who's listening or watching because we're on YouTube too, which no one watches, but all the people just mainly listen. On Apple and Spotify, mainly on Apple, not on Spotify. We have a lot of listeners who use Apple, which is me. I don't even use Spotify. I don't have Spotify. But no one watches on YouTube. The ratings and the views on YouTube is like less than 100. Yeah. All right, let's just get started with this episode. All right, so I will be in Brazil in a couple of days. So, like I said, no new episode for the next 2 weeks. And if my plane goes down, well, I guess that'll just be the end of the comment section. I won't be mad if my plane crashes. Well, let me not say that. God, people are going to think I'm suicidal. Okay, I will be mad if my plane crashes. All right, now I'm going to make a dark humor. But make a dark joke humor. But I always said this in the past on the podcast that I don't want to die with strangers. Like if my plane crashes, I don't want to die with strangers. I don't want to share my death date with anybody. We all have our own individual birthdays. Like I don't know anyone who has the same birthday as me. So I don't want to die in a plane crash with like 60 other strangers. So it's so morbid for me to say, but that's the truth. But I guess if I'm complaining about loneliness, at least I will be in good company in the afterlife, right? So, but I say all the plane crashing joke. I say all this to say because, like, what is going on with all these plane crashes that's happening? Like, I'm sure you all heard about the plane crash that happened in Toronto a couple of days ago. Like, the Delta was a Delta airline plane that flipped over when it landed, and miraculously, all 76 passengers survived. It's like, thank God. And then Delta had the audacity to offer them just $30,000. That's a joke. Delta really offered them $30,000 after the entire plane flipped the fuck over. Like, are you kidding me? Like, there's a video of the plane actually flipping over. So in the video, you see the airline landing in Toronto. I think they were coming from Minneapolis. And so in the video, the plane is landing and it touched down at Toronto, but because of the ice and snow that happened in Toronto earlier this week, the plane slid on the ice and then flipped over, ripping off the wings and the tail. And thank God, like, the engines didn't explode because it rolled over a couple times. And, the engines are on the wings. And the fact that both wings ripped off and the engines didn't explode, like, that was nothing but short of a miracle, honestly. And like I said, all 76 passengers plus the crew survived that plane crash. If I'm in a plane crash in a couple of days, because I have to catch 3 planes, if I'm in a plane crash on a 20-hour flight, by the way, or it's a 20-hour travel, not a 20-hour flight, 20-hour travel where I'm going to Brazil. But if I'm going to be in a plane crash in a couple of days, let it be one of those plane crashes. Let it be one of those where we survive and where I can actually sue the airlines. Let it be one of those. Because I'm definitely suing, and not for $30,000. If anyone who was on that aircraft listening to this stupid podcast, I hope that none of you accept the $30,000. I hope that you all lawyer up, because I'm sure I don't think you guys can get $1 million, but I'm sure you can get maybe $500,000 to $700,000. I'm sure. 30,000, even people who are in car accidents for like a regular fender bender don't even get 30,000. Delta, you really offered these people $30,000 after they flipped in your fucking airplane. Because they're still investigating of how the plane actually flipped after landing. Like I said, the video, you can see the plane landing, but you can see it sliding on the ground, which indicates that the ground was icy because of either ice or snow. But was the plane not evened out? Was 67 passengers not enough weight for the plane to stay evened out? Because I know that is true. I know when I have flown, because I do fly a lot. When I flew recently to Atlanta, it was an empty plane, and I asked if I could change seats because the aisle that I was sitting in was filled, just filled with 3 people, but there was an empty aisle across from me. So I asked if I can possibly sit in the empty aisle, and the flight attendant said no because the plane would not be evened out with weights. Like, it would be uneven. I'm like, what? I'm only one. Actually, I'm not 170 anymore. I'm 220. So what? How much could that possibly even? How could that be true with me just being 220 pounds? I'm tall and skinny. Like, what? But maybe that is true because the plane flipped over. Maybe 76 passengers. 76 passengers wasn't enough weight for the plane to stay grounded and not to roll over. It is really scary to fly nowadays because that is actually the 9th plane accident that has happened in this year. And we're only 2 months in 2025 because on Wednesday, it was another plane crash, except it was like one of those small little aircrafts carrying one person. 2 planes collided mid-air in Arizona and both people died. But that makes 9 airplane crashes in 2025. And we're only 2 months in. That's a lot. I don't even think that there was even 9 plane crashes in the last 15 years total, like why are all these planes crashing? It's flying is really now scary to do. We are back to living in the early 1900s where planes were new, was a new invention, was a new vehicle, and they were crashing quite frequently because they didn't have the equipment to maintain the safety. But 9 plane crashes in 2 months. It's really scary to travel nowadays. And yeah, when I leave for Brazil in a couple of days, yeah, my heart will be racing. I'll be nervous on all 3 airplanes, all 3 of them, and one of them is a red eye. So I don't feel like I will be asleep. I will be awake the entire time. At least I would try to. My nerves would be really bad. I take Xanax anyways for flying, but I do have Ambien, so I probably will pop an Ambien and take a Xanax and hope for the best. So yeah, and I don't know what this means for Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour because I may not be seeing her. All right, we all know that she's only hitting 9 cities: Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, London, Paris, Houston, Atlanta, DC, and Vegas. And the fights for the tickets is insane. I mean, insane. So last week the tickets dropped, and so on one day, if you were a Beehive member, you were able to buy the tickets first. Then on another day, if you were a Ticketmaster member, you were able to buy the tickets. And then last Friday on Valentine's Day, the tickets were released to the public. And so I was curious because you all know I love Beyonce. I think I'm a Beehive. Sure, I'm a Beehive. So I do want to see her. So I was curious to see, how much are her tickets? Because, her Renaissance tickets were very costly. And luckily, I went to go see her in internationally. I went to go see her in Toronto. And so, for those who don't know, our money is more in Toronto, so it's cheaper for us when we buy things. Did I say that right? I think I said that right. So is this cheaper in Canada? It's like going to Mexico. Our money is more or their money's less. I don't know. But it was cheaper to see her in Toronto. So the section that I saw Beyonce in for the Renaissance tour, it was $1,000 section, and I paid $500 because of the American difference. And I got it. I actually bought those tickets the day of the show. So last Friday, I wanted to see how much her tickets were for the Cowboy Carter tour. And they're expensive. I mean, I saw for the section I would like to sit in, they were like around $900 to $1,200 per person. Which I will say that's not terrible, but it is kind of terrible for concert tickets nowadays. Because last year, in 2024, I saw Drake and Nicki and SWV and Escape, and I don't think I paid anything over $300. And for Drake, I was in his VIP section. I think I paid $250 for his show. So I guess $900 is a lot of money to go see Beyonce. But when I went to go on Ticketmaster last Friday, child, I clicked on the Houston show. Like I mentioned, she's only going to 9 cities, so she wants you to fly to her, which I'm not really a fan of. I don't really like flying to concerts because anything could happen. Flights could be delayed, bad weather could happen, so then flights could be delayed for a couple hours or for a day. The artist could get sick herself, so you fly to the city and then the concert's canceled because the artist is sick. So I just don't like flying to go see artists. I would just rather them come to somewhere local. But anyway, so I went to go on Ticketmaster. I went to go to the Houston show. I wanted to see how much tickets were. And I was in line just to view tickets. It was 68,000 people ahead of me. I'm like, what the flying fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? And I posted this on my Instagram. I could not believe that I was waiting in a queue just to view ticket prices or just to see. I just couldn't believe it. So 68,000 people were ahead of me. So then I clicked out of that to go to like a different city. And I think I clicked on Chicago or Los Angeles. And I was immediately let in immediately. And that's how I saw the prices that were like $900 to $1,200. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see her. I mean, I don't know who I'm going with at this point. Maybe going alone. Which is just whatever. But I don't know who I'm going with. But I'm just scared to fly, Beyonce. I'm scared to fly. So I may not be going. I want to just drive or take the train to wherever I'm going now. I'm just so scared to fly. But if my time comes, then my time just comes in a couple of days. So you can't fight death. We all are born to die. In order to live, you must die. So no one can live forever. So my dog is snoring so loud. Jeez. Guess he had a rough day doing nothing. So funny how dogs can just be laid out on the couch or snoring as if they had such a long, exhausting day. Oh, my poor baby. Oh. All right, so did you all watch Married to Medicine? I finally caught up, and I'm so happy I caught up because Sunday's episode, oh my God, Sunday's episode was epic. Like, it was so fucking good. I'm not really liking this season that much. Like, the season hasn't really been catching my attention all that much. I don't know if it's because it's the same storyline every season, because it's the same cast it's been the same cast for the past 10 years, minus one or two new people, but for the majority, for 90% of the cast is the same cast. And so I don't know if we need to switch out some cast members. It's just not catching my attention. Dr. Simone, I meant to say Dr. Jackie, but Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone, I don't know if we should continue with them on the show no more. And I'm also going to say, who else is on the show? Phaedra. She quit the show. But we can do without some of the people. But Phaedra, you are not slick, baby. You were so not slick. So we all know that this is her second season on the series. And if you're not watching this season, the other girls on the show is not letting Phaedra get away with anything. They're not letting her get away with nothing. They're holding her accountable. They're calling her out on her lies and her bullshit. And I'm actually here for it because I don't think that when Phaedra was on Atlanta Housewives, Kenya was the only person who was doing that. It wasn't the entire group collectively. The entire group this season has been on Phaedra's neck. And I am here for it. I like Phaedra, but it's time that she's been called out. And they've been calling her out left and right. So they are all on the couples trip, and Phaedra bring this guy named Shaq. I think his name is Shaq, who she just met at Sweet Tea's speed dating event. So first of all, this is a trip for actual couples, not for plus ones you barely know. Like Phaedra, you only met him at the time of this shooting. You only known him for a week or two. And so it's just really odd that you would bring someone that you're not really like everyone who brought all the couples are either married or they're in long-term relationships. You've only met him for 2 weeks, Phaedra. This is a little weird. It's really weird. Well, this is where it gets interesting. Shaq knows and is good friends with Apollo and his wife, Shireen. Now, if you don't know the backstory, Apollo is Phaedra's ex-husband, and Apollo also got invited on this trip thanks to Heavenly's messy ass. All right. Heavenly thought it would be a good example to bring Apollo on the trip, because him and Phaedra have this good relationship where they can co-parent their 2 boys, even though they are exes. And so she wanted it to be a good example for Quad and Dr. G to see how co-parenting exes can get along. And when Heavenly invited Apollo before even bringing it up to Phaedra, but she did bring it up to Phaedra before leaving Atlanta. And when Phaedra found out, you could tell she just wasn't happy about it. You could tell she felt uncomfortable about Apollo coming on the trip. So fast forward to the trip, Apollo comes with Shireen. Now, he told Heavenly that Shireen was not coming. He told Heavenly, Shireen is not coming. I'm just coming alone. But I also think that because Phaedra possibly knew that Apollo is coming with his wife, Shireen, she said, let me bring Shaq because I'm not going to be on this trip alone like I was last year when my ex-husband could be bringing his new wife, who she's calling the mistress. I don't really know. I don't really think that. Okay. Phaedra is saying that Shireen is a mistress. Now, who was on the show on the comment section last week? Was it Anthony or was it Ahmad? I can't remember. But on the last week's episode of the comment section, we were saying how Shireen was on Atlanta Housewives. Remember when she came in season 9 to Todd and Candy's restaurant opening? And at the time, Phaedra and Apollo was still married, but Apollo was already in jail for 3 years. But he has already started dating. I'm not sure if that time the divorce papers were in work or if they even had filed for divorce, I should say. But because they were still married, and Apollo was dating Shireen, Phaedra is saying that Shireen is the mistress. Now, Phaedra, at that time, Apollo was away for 2 years. You are making it very clear that you are separated from your husband. So we're not going to call Shireen the mistress because you two are not in a marriage anymore. You were separated. So Shireen is not really a mistress, all right? You two were separated to do your own thing. And according to Cynthia and Kenya, you were talking to Dr. Chocolate. So if Shireen's a mistress, so is Dr. Chocolate. But I am not going to label Shireen as a mistress, especially under those circumstances. But back to what was I getting to? I'm talking so fucking much. I don't know what I was getting to. Oh, so Shaq, which was Phaedra's date. By the way, he's actually really good looking. He's tall, and I think he's around my age, which is I'm turning 34 soon. So I think he's 34. And he looks like my height, 6'3", and Phaedra, she's a little short little thing. She's like 5'1", it looks like. But you can tell it's a big age gap between Phaedra and Shaq, like a big age gap. And, the age gap alone just lets me know that Phaedra isn't serious about really taking this man seriously. That's why I'm just so curious and that's what I'm calling bullshit of why she brought him on the trip, because I could already tell that she has no interest in really dating this man. It looks like a 20 plus age gap. And, so she brought Shaq, and Shaq did tell her on one of the dates prior that I know your ex-husband. He didn't say he's good friends with him. He just said, I know your ex-husband. So when Apollo and Shireen showed up on the trip on this past Sunday's episode, Apollo was like taken back, like, what are you doing here, dude? Like, what the hell? Apollo was telling the group that they are actually really good friends. He actually comes over for holidays. Apollo said, we hang out, we go golfing, we go to the strip club. He comes over for holidays. And for the fact that you are dating my ex-wife and didn't tell me, that's kind of shady. And Apollo was angry. But Phaedra, being the sneaky girl that she is, that we all know her to be, was like, Apollo, why are you in my business? Mind your business. He wasn't in your business. He's in his friend's business who's dating you, who's here on vacation with you, Phaedra, and you know that. And you brought this man on purpose to ruffle Apollo's feathers. Like, I don't know if you're trying to get back at Apollo for embarrassing you, for doing illegal activity, and her being the lawyer and having the status that she has, that was embarrassing for her husband to go to jail for committing fraud. Excuse me. For coughing in your ear. But I don't know. I don't know why Phaedra would bring this man other than just being messy. Was heavily being messy? Maybe. But at the same time, maybe she was trying to have Dr. G and Quad, who, as we all know, are no longer together, and who are Dr. G is married to another person and Quad is dating somebody. And, they're on the same show and in the same friend circle, and they're trying to get along and learn to get along. But maybe Heavenly was trying to just show that exes can get along. You don't have to be friends, but there are ways that it is possible for you to be cordial and to be around each other. But knowing Heavenly's messy, just like her hair, messy. I don't even know. Her husband, Heavenly's husband, what's her husband? I can't think of her husband's name. Her husband is really, really the opposite of what Heavenly is. And I still don't understand how she got with him. Because he is really such a sweet man, and she is really a miserable person. And I mean, it's great for TV. Heavenly is a great producer, but I can never be friends with someone like Heavenly in real life. She can be really mean and harsh as well. I feel bad for her kids because I know her kids get it all the time, and I feel worse for her sons, because imagine her sons bringing home a wife that Heavenly may not like. Heavenly is going to give her future daughter-in-law's life a living hell. And I feel bad for Heavenly. I mean, I feel bad for her sons because of that reason. But back to Phaedra. Phaedra, you ain't slick. You brought that man on purpose to ruffle Apollo's feather, and it worked. He got pissed. The Phaedra called Shireen a bad built bitch. She ain't lie. Shireen is built like a construction worker, like Bob the Builder. I mean, I shouldn't say that because I don't want to put down her looks because she could be down on her looks. But I'm just repeating what Phaedra said. It made me chuckle. It made me chuckle. No, the other part that made me chuckle was Shireen was telling the group that Shaq, which is Phaedra's little boyfriend, she said, Shaq dates everyone in Atlanta. He's everyone's boyfriend. And Simone said, "Oh, that's nice." It was a messy episode. Dr. G got into a physical fight with Quad's boyfriend King. Now, I don't agree with King and Quad. Like, I'm on Dr. G's side. Quad was, and I hate doing recaps because people who don't watch don't know what I'm talking about, and I hate explaining things because I feel like I don't explain things thoroughly and well, but I'm gonna try to. So in the episode prior, they're all there together in Florida. And why are they going to Florida? Like, this is a trip. Like, why are we staying national? Like, why are we not traveling international to Jamaica, Aruba, Paris? Like, well, why are we in Florida? I thought, I actually thought they were on a tropical island until this new episode where they reminded us where they were. And they said, I think, Key West, Florida. I'm like, Florida? They're in Florida? Anyways, when I watch these shows, I expect them to go to places internationally, not somewhere where I can go to. I expect boy or something. I expect lavish tropical islands that I've never been to, or Saint Thomas or Japan. Not Florida. Florida. Anyways, when they're all there in Florida, and last week, Heavily Messy Ass had this couples game where she wants to see if the couples can guess the same answers as each other. And so she was asking questions like how many times you have sex and what's your partner's favorite position. And Quad is answering these questions in front of her ex-husband and his new wife. And for those who don't know, I've been watching Married to Medicine since season 1, and Dr. G's biggest complaint back when they were married is that they never had sex. In fact, he was saying that they never had sex for 3 years. And so Quad was up here saying that her new boyfriend would be having sex 15 times a week. And, and then Quad said, she wanted the divorce, and Dr. G didn't want the divorce, and she left him, and, she was poking the bear. So then Dr. G exploded, and they had some verbal words, but Quad's new boyfriend felt a way about that and wanted Dr. G to apologize to Quad for his behavior. And I get that, for this King guy, Quad's new boyfriend, I get that you want to protect Quad and you want to be, the boyfriend and the man for her, but Quad was in the wrong. Quad really started that argument, and that's what Dr. G was trying to explain to King. You can't tell me not to talk to your wife, but your wife can say reckless things about me and in front of me. And you can't be mad if I have a reaction. You know what I'm saying? And Dr. G and King didn't like that response. And the episode ended with King chasing Dr. G. And then you see Sweet Tea, running. You see Sweet Tea and Quad running after their man, trying to diffuse the situation and break up the fight. Ugh, it was a really good episode. If you haven't watched Sunday's episode of Married to Medicine, check it out because it was this drama from the start of this episode to the very, very end of the episode. And then the next week's episode, in the preview, apparently half of the couples depart from the trip. And I think this is when Phaedra quits the show. We all know that she quit mid-season before production wrapped, and she hopped right over to Atlanta Housewives. She got that peach back, and she started filming Atlanta Housewives when she quit Married to Medicine. So I think that that will happen next week. I hope that I didn't bore anyone with that boring recap. I try to make it interesting, and I hope that I explain things thoroughly. Right after Married to Medicine, Potomac the Potomac reunion was on, and I watched. I actually enjoyed this Potomac season. I never was a fan of Potomac Housewives for some reason. Never really um made me want to watch every episode. Like for the past 8 seasons, I watched episodes here and there. I never watched every episode. But this season, I don't know if it just something about the season really was authentic and just felt refreshed and just not negative. I really liked all the newbies. I like Jesse. I like not Mia, Stacy. I like Kay. And I felt like they brought something different that wasn't on the show prior. And I like Candace. I'm not saying that I didn't like Candace. I didn't like Robin. Robin was just, I don't know how she even lasted 8 seasons. And why are we asking for her back? You people begged the producers to fire Robin. And now that she's gone, you're begging for her to come back? Are you fucking kidding me? Robin with the same storyline for 8 seasons with Juan, who I'm divorcing Juan. We're getting married. We're still not married. We're engaged. We got married, and now he's cheated on me, but he's not cheated on me. Oh my God! I don't want Juan to be her storyline, and I don't want Robin to be back on the show. She has nothing going on. As I mentioned earlier, if I was a housewife, I would have nothing going on because I wouldn't have a storyline, and that's Robin, and that's okay. Robin is a nice woman. She's a beautiful woman. She has a beautiful family. Her husband is sexy as fuck. I would go down on him in a heartbeat if he was bisexual. I'll suck his dick in a quick minute. But she's not meant to be on reality television. Yeah. So what? Stop asking for her to come back, people. We're not getting Robin back. All right. I don't want her back. And I'm Mr. Housewives, and I have the final say. Robin is staying off the show. Candace, I like to see Candace back. I fucked with Candace. I like Candace. But I like this season. So anyways, on part 1 of the reunion, Karen obviously is not there, as we all know. The reunion or the episode opened up to the police body cam footage of Karen getting arrested. It showed how drunk and intoxicated she was the day of her crash back in September, or was it? I think it actually happened in the spring of last year. I can't remember. So many DUIs. I think Shannon Bedore's was in the fall. I don't know, but it showed when she got arrested. And then it also showed a video that she had filmed a week or two before the reunion was filmed, explaining why she wasn't there. She said that she was entering rehab. And then the ladies, once they watched the videos, they were discussing, like, is she going to rehab because she actually thinks she has an alcoholic problem, or is she going to rehab because it will look good on her sentencing? Now, her sentencing actually will be next week when I will not be doing the show with you all. And I most likely won't be blogging either. She's facing 2 years in jail, but I don't think she'll get 2 years in jail, even though she had a previous DUI case 30 years ago. But that was 30 years ago. Come on, it's not like it happened 3 years ago. So I think that the judge will, see that Karen has been, behaving herself in between the 30 years, and probably give her probation, community service. I can't really see Karen going to jail for 2 years, even though, the body cam footage, we saw her she was really intoxicated. I don't think Karen has a drinking problem. I said this before on the podcast, and I think I said it on my blog page as well. I don't think she had a drinking problem. I think that she just had one too many drinks that night. And, she shouldn't have got behind the wheel. It's really easy to get a DUI nowadays. The drinking, the number is really low. I think one Corona can equal a DUI if you blow into a breathalyzer after drinking one Corona, which is a beer. So the women were discussing whether she is going to rehab to make the sentencing, to lessen the sentencing, or if she really has a drinking problem. A lot of the women, mainly Wendy, was saying that they think that she's going to rehab to lessen the sentence, which I think that anybody in Karen's position would do. That is the best move to make, especially if you're facing 2 years in jail. I gotta blow my nose. I'll be right back. Sorry, I'm like sick. My nose is running. I think I have the flu. But anyways, any boogers? Nope, no boogers. Oh my God, I had to work today, and I had a Zoom meeting And because I'm sick, I'm wiping my nose every 5 minutes, it feels like. And I had a bugger hanging. And none of them even fucking told me. No one said, Marcus, you have a booger hanging from your nose. No, they just had me on camera looking ugly and stupid, per usual. Um, so that happened with Karen. The women discussed Karen, Giselle got a little emotional. Um, in the video too, she thanked most of the women on the show for their support. She named Giselle, she named Kay, and then she named Andy Cohen and Candace, but she didn't mention Wendy. And that was a surprise to Wendy because Wendy has been defending her all season, as you and I watched all season. But in the finale, as we saw, Stacey revealed that, Karen had lots to say about Wendy. Behind her back previously before Stacey even joined the show. So Wendy, is in her feelings about it, and as she should be. I would be too. If I'm defending somebody and I think that someone's my friend, and they're not, and they don't think the same way, I will feel hurt as well. But then what really got me on this reunion, what was that Mia girl, that Mia, Mia, you is just I could never be friends with Mia. So, remember last week, it was Ahmad who was on the show. Remember earlier, I can't remember who was on the show. Was it Anthony or Ahmad? Ahmad and I was talking about Jesse potentially being a full-time flute holder for this past season, but Mia had something to do with the reason why she didn't get that full-time role and why she was demoted. And we thought that it had something to do with Miami. But no, Miami was a whole nother story. Mia had a birthday party in Miami for her 40th birthday party, and I guess she only invited Jesse and Stacey. And so Jesse and Stacey confirmed that they would be attending Mia's 40th birthday party in Miami, and they will party with her and celebrate her 40th birthday. Well, Stacey and Jesse revealed that they flew to Miami and never heard from Mia. They attended the dinner. Mia never came in. I guess Mia was like an hour too late. And they kept calling Mia to see if she was coming. Mia wasn't picking up, so they left. And they never even got to see Mia, and Mia never even acknowledged that they came. That's fucked up, Mia. That is really fucked up that you would even do that to them. Like Mia tried to say that Stacey and Jazzy confirmed to the person planning the party that they're coming, but Mia never personally knew. Like, I guess Mia had like a party planner, and they were just, taking the RSVPs and everything. I've done that I had a friend, I actually, through his 40th birthday, I planned everything. He sent me a list of people that he wanted me to invite. I emailed everybody their itinerary, all the restaurants. They picked which restaurant they would like to choose to. I called the restaurant, made the reservations. But I told my friend, this is 4 years ago, who was attending the dinner. This person's attending the dinner, this person. So I don't believe you, Mia. I think that party planner did tell you who's coming to your party. You would have to know, because why wouldn't you want to know, hey, who's coming to my birthday party? You would have to know that Stacey and Jesse confirmed. And even if you didn't, Stacey said she texted you and called you multiple times. And you still ignore. I could never be friends with Mia. No. So at the end of the Potomac reunion, Mia tried to apologize to Stacey and Jesse off camera. I mean, well, it was on camera, but off the stage, because they had taken a break, and they were like eating lunch, or I don't know, taking a bathroom break. But she tried to apologize to them, and Stacey was just not here for it. She was like, "No, I'm not receiving your apology as of right now." And Mia got emotional and started to cry and was like, "I gotta quit." Mia, you as someone said, I can't remember who said on the show, you cry when you feel like your back is against the wall. You feel like it's an easy cop out. And it's not a good look, It's not really a good look. I can't stand someone who looks for sympathy when they're in the wrong. Own up to your bullshit. Apologize for your bullshit. And try to not do it again. But it's with you, Mia, you are a consistent liar. We can't believe you. Like, I don't know who's worse, you or Bryn Whitfield from New York City, the new cast from the new reboot of New York City. Who's the worst liar, Mia or Bryn? And if I had to choose between who I would believe more, I think I would believe Mia, but I don't know. They both elaborate, they both embellish, and they both just lie. and they both act clueless to what, and when they're addressed, they're like, huh? What are you talking about? Huh? That? Like, it's just, I can never be friends with Mia. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Yeah. But I like this. I thought the reunion was actually good. I liked the reunion. It was really, this season was really good. I know a lot of people thought it was boring, but maybe I'm a boring person. I enjoyed the season. So I am looking forward to part 2, which will be airing this Sunday. And then we can find out what TJ said about Stacy. That was in the preview for this upcoming reunion. Well, that's our show today. Really not much of anything. I think I was just talking just to talk earlier. I don't want no one to be concerned. If you finish the episode, I don't want no one to be concerned about my mental health. I was just talking just to talk. But I am lonely. But I don't want no one thinking I'm commit suicide. I thought it a couple weeks ago. Mapped out a plan, possibly. But I didn't act on it, and that's the most important thing. I'm still here. And I'm so embarrassed to even publish this episode. I may not even publish it. But, yeah. I'm just talking, just expressing myself. Expressing my feelings. Oh, my nose, I'm so sick. I leave in a couple days, and I can't be sick on vacation. I can't. I just can't. Story of my fucking life. Well, I have nothing else for you guys. I would ask if anyone else has anything to say, but there's no one else here on the show with me, so. That's it for today's show. As my final reminder, there will be no new episodes for the next 2 weeks because I will be in Brazil, but the comment section will be back on March 14th. So until then, stay shady. All right? Take care, everyone. Talk to you in a couple weeks. Bye.